guys, thanks for having me to do a little cocktail demo. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. It's nice to see all your faces. I wanted to do something simple that like you could just throw together if you needed to, and I know that most of us are cooking and have spices already, so I thought that this would be something really appropriate. Doing a mulled spiced cider. It can be spiked or it can be non-alcoholic. Super easy to do either one. And also this batch of spices works really well for a mulled wine. So you can also use the same recipe but just substitute wine for the apple cider, and then you have mulled spiced wine, which is great over the holidays, especially when it's cold. So if you live up Malka somewhere and you have a little bit of a chill in the air and you feel like a warm cocktail, this could be the one for you. So I'm going to follow the recipe. I got, this is Honeycrisp, unfiltered. Honeycrisp are the best apples. I don't know how you guys feel about Honeycrisps, but I'm in love with Honeycrisps. So they have this Honeycrisp organic, and I like unfiltered for cider. It just gives like a more thick mouthfeel, which is more comforting. So I'm making this batch for myself, and I'm just gonna drink cider all week. So I'm gonna add the alcohol later on, but I'm gonna go ahead and add the whole quart, 2 quarts. And then what I've been doing since I came to the Big Island is I've been frequenting the farmers markets and doing research on what's actually available here in the islands. And I've been really lucky. I found some local spice vendors. So the first thing I'm going to put in is allspice, and that's something I haven't found here yet. Sorry, star anise. Star anise is the first thing I'm putting in. And I'm putting in a little tiny one because I'm not a huge fan of licorice, but it does give a really nice like Christmassy feel to it. So I'm just using a tiny one. Depending on your preference for licorice or that like anise flavor, up to you, but these I'm sure you know are really potent. So I'm going to put one little guy in there, and cinnamon sticks. I'm going to keep one for garnish, and I'm going to put one in the pot. So these are local nutmeg. On the Big Island, I found a nutmeg, a clove, and I've foraged my own allspice, and a cinnamon vendor. So OK Farms does local cloves and local cinnamon, and they're over by Akaika Falls in Hilo, and it's just so delicious, and I love using all local stuff if I can. So I'm going to use local nutmeg, and I'm going to do my little microplane over, and I'm probably just going to do like 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or about a quarter of a teaspoon. It's pretty strong. And obviously I'm pouring it into my little Dutch oven, which I love. I have a little white one. The next ingredient is going to be those cloves from OK Farms, and I've actually been there and I got to go check out their spice. They call it Spice Road, and they have cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon trees that are all about 15 years old, and it's so pretty, and I really love it. So if you guys come over here and visit, we can definitely make a trip over there. I'll probably end up doing some kind of class visit over there where you can actually see the trees and see how they harvest for the cocktail school. But so 6 cloves I'm using. And then there's an allspice tree on my local dog walk. So I have urban foraged some allspice. And I'm sure you know, but allspice comes through a little bit better when it's a little bit crushed. So I just used my handy pestle and mortar, crushed up 2 seeds, and I'm putting 2 seeds in there. And then adding ginger. So I've got a local orange, and the ginger is from Costco. I'm not scared to admit that it's Costco ginger. But I'm doing about a 1/2 inch sliced, and then a full orange with the peel. And then I'm just gonna turn it on and let it heat up to a simmer. I don't want to boil it. I just want to simmer it. Honestly, you can drink it after about 15 minutes, but, oh, my dog's gonna bark. That's lovely. Fitzgerald. You can drink it after like 15, 20 minutes. The spices will come through, but the longer that you let it slow cook, the more of the flavors are gonna come through, obviously, and your house is also gonna smell really, 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 really good. Like when you walk in, you're gonna be like, oh my God, it's Christmas in Hawaii in your house. So that's one of the most fun things about it. So you can cook it as long as you want. I suggest at least an hour. You can go 2 to 3 hours at a slow simmer. Like I said, it's just gonna add more flavor. And then once you're done, I don't even strain it. I just use a ladle and I scoop out, and then I use a coffee mug. So for this one, I have a nice glass coffee mug. And one of the tricks that I do is I boil hot water first and I heat the mugs first, because if you throw a hot cocktail in a cold cup, it's not going to be hot for long. It's going to cool down really quick. So if you want it to stay hot, you know, you just take a little boiling water. I already boiled the kettle. And then I would just literally fill it up, let it sit for a second till I feel the glass is a little bit warm, and then dump it. Now my glass is ready to go. And then I have this little strainer, but honestly you can use no strainer and just eyeball it, or you can strain the entire pot, but just remember it's going to be boiling hot by the time you get there. So what I would do first is, let's talk about liquor. If you're just gonna do a virgin or a mocktail, it can just go straight into the hot glass, and I would just garnish it with a cinnamon stick, and you're happy to go. Great for any cold evening. If you are going to do liquor, I suggest an aged liquor. So an aged rum really goes well with cider. Spiced, I put bourbon in the recipe, but reality wise, I would probably go with a rye, because it's going to be more gingery, more spicy. It's going to bring more flavor to your cocktail. Or an aged tequila, and this is my favorite. I'm a Casa Noble girl, so a nice aged tequila. Actually, tequila pairs really, really well with apple. You wouldn't think it, but when you actually have tequila with apple, it actually goes together really nicely. So you're gonna take your glass, take your little strain, we'll pretend it's already hot, and just go right over the strainer. So you have a full glass, you have your little cinnamon stick, and you're all finished. And that's your cider, your spiced cider, and it smells really good, and it's really hearty and satisfying. And like I said, if you don't like apples, you can totally use the same exact recipe, but just modify it by using red wine. And I would use a sweeter red wine, like a California Table Red or something like that. That's going to be a little on the sweeter side. And also, you can add a little bit more orange juice to taste. But yeah, I hope you guys try it sometime. It's really, really good. Cheers.